if you're going to train yourself to talk trash about women now, best believe when you get married and you continue speaking like that, you're probably going to hang out with dudes who speak like that as well, right? So when you stuff up, those dudes will not be equipped to say to you, yo, bro, listen, man, you actually screwed up here. Step up, become a better man, go apologize to your wife.
So I used to think I needed a dad when I was young, but I realized more and more that I need him now.
Sure.
More than anything, that there's times when life gets hard. Being a man is hard. Being a husband is hard, and you just need somebody by your side to say, "Son, it's gonna be okay."
1, 2, 3, 4.
What's good, beautiful people? Welcome to 2.5 Husbands, where we celebrate becoming better husbands.
It's 2.5, even though there are 3 husbands, and that's because at some point, one of us, if not all of us, was not fully the husband that we were supposed to be.
And that's why we actually come here on a weekly basis to discuss some of the issues that we face, some of the issues we are seeing around us, and we hope that the journey that we started with you and for you is going to benefit you,
and yours.
So what we're gonna do now in this section is man, let's talk, right? I think the first 2 speakers obviously gave us a lot to think about. They poured into us, but we also acknowledge, man, that you guys come in with your own thoughts. You guys come in with your own burdens. You come in with questions that you might be holding, things that you're grappling with. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's easy for us to stand up here and just speak at you. And then you walk away feeling like, yo, man, I don't even know what to do with all of this stuff. It's good stuff. It's gems, man. It's stuff that's going to revolutionize our lives. Thinking about career, thinking about what leadership looks like. It's really dope things, right? But when we walk out of here, how are we going to take even just 1% of what these dudes said and apply it to our lives, right? But we'll only know that if we engage, man, right? If we speak, and there might be things that the first 2 speakers said that you're like, yo, man, can you please just help me see how this is going to look like in my life, right? So that's what we're going to do in this session. And again, this stuff is recorded, man. If you don't want to be on camera, that's dope. You can tell us. We'll chop stuff off. But if you're cool with that, and you have a question, we have a mic there, so you'll just walk up to the mic, ask your question, just briefly introduce yourself, ask your question, and then we can engage. All right, is that cool? All right, that's dope, man. But I was introduced. Obviously, Maruti has been taking punches from who's that dude again?
What's his name now? Puluko.
Puluko has been taking jabs at Ndate Muruti. But this is David Kobedi. I'm black. I run 2.5 Husbands, but David is a regular feature on the thing. And as it was said earlier on, we just want to showcase, man, what it means to be a husband. You know, we're going to speak about manhood, right? And that's a big and broad topic. Underneath that, you'll obviously get fatherhood, you'll get husbandhood, you'll get brotherhood. So it's all encompassing of that. And obviously this is a platform where we speak specifically about being a husband, but you know, it's content that's, I think, appropriate and relevant for men. Right? It doesn't matter where we at. So we're gonna just chop it up and just see where this thing gets us, right? Dog, I don't know if you have anything to set us up. Are you good?
No, I'm good. I'm good. Just to say, it's been such a cool thing to be invited here back again by the RAs, Fardeen there at the back.
Shout out.
Privilege for me to engage with you guys. I don't know if this is the crop of students who were here last year. When did we start coming to Resia? Last year. So, and I think we had deep conversations around manhood, what it meant to be a man. Fatherhood being, I think there was a common feature that many of us were crying out for fathers, because many of us grew up without the so-called leadership. So even with the conversation on hearing a conversation on leadership, I'm just like, a lot of us grew up in spaces where we didn't have fathers around. We spoke deeply about that. We wanted to continue the conversation. So it's just nice to be here. And I hope that we will engage in the conversation around manhood.
Yeah, that's dope, man. So again, this is broad, gents. It's open, man. So again, manhood would incorporate being a husband, being a brother, being a leader. So really, we can go anywhere with this conversation, right? Maybe let me start with a question before you cats think of questions, right? Anyone can answer this, man. But who do you think are the future men of this country? Who are the future men of South Africa?
So isn't it that for purpose of recording, if you wanna talk, you use the mic?
Yeah, no. So I'm just asking a question to the floor, Jenna, just to open it up. But if you wanna ask a question, please go to the mic, obviously, because we're recording the thing. But where do you think the future men of South Africa are? Huh? Right? Yeah, where are they now? You're here. All right. Okay. I would say you cats are wrong. You guys are not the future men of South Africa. You are the men of South Africa now, right? The future men of South Africa are sleeping. David's boy, right, who's how old now? 6 years old.
6, yeah.
He's a boy, right? He's sleeping back at home. He's the future man of South Africa. You cats are not the future. You cats are the men now, right? So we can't wait for a future where we become men. You cats are men now. And the thing with that, again, it might even be a shocker to hear that. And I think part of the shocker is because we haven't been taught that, we haven't been told that, we haven't been trained in how to walk as men now. And so some of us, and ourselves included, tend to then behave like boys. We tend to behave like boys who mimic what being a man is. And part of that is that we're trying to find cues. And as dudes, we always try and find cues within each other in our relationships, right? And you're always looking to your boys for them to confirm if you are acting as a man or not, right? But again, if there's just a bunch of boys in a group, who you actually taking cues from, right? So I think the first thing, man, is just to know you cats are men now, right? You cats are men now. Are we like perfect men now? No, we're not, right? But are we men who are growing? Yes, we are. Are we men who dedicated to living out what true manhood looks like? Yes, we are, right? That's why you cats are here, right? That's why you came through on a Monday evening while you have exams tomorrow, and you want to know how you can be poured into so that whatever definition of manhood you have can be enriched and you can live out that definition, right? So I just wanted to say, man, as we start, we're speaking as men, right? Yeah. Dope. So any questions as we begin? Any things that were said in the past two talks? Anything you're grappling with now? All right, that's dope, my dog. That's dope. Yeah. Please pull through. Come to the mic, dog. Just tell us your name and what's the question, brother?
I'm KP, and my question is, what inspired you guys' name, and who's the other half? Because there's only two of you guys.
Yeah, that's dope, bro. You guys. That's dope, man. Let's give this dude a round of applause, man.
Wait, did you get the thing, the sound there?
This dude is paying attention. You're paying attention, dog. That's dope. So there's actually three of us on the podcast. All right. When we initially started it, two of us were married, and one dude was engaged, about to get married. So he was the half. Right, and so the other two were basically going to walk with him, hold his hand, to try and show him what being a husband is going to look like. And fortunately, unfortunately, whichever way you look at it, he got married before we released our first episode. Right, and so in the process of that, we realized he's no longer the half because he's married as well. But when we look deeply within ourselves, we realize, man, at some point, one of us, if not all of us, become a half-husband, right? And a half-husband is basically a dude like me or David who's married in moments, and there's a lot of those moments, right, where you don't walk as a full husband, you don't behave as a full husband, you don't talk to your wife as a full husband, you don't love your wife as a full husband, right? And so we tend to have these half-husband moments, right? And half-husband moments are really moments for us to fail, but fail forward, right? Fail realizing, man, shucks, there's a band of other brothers who might be full husbands at that moment, who can pour into me, help correct my failure and my half-husband moment, right? And it's also an acknowledgement that we will never be full husbands as long as we live on earth, right? There's brokenness. We're going to pour into ourselves. We're going to grow. We're going to meet like this. We'll learn from each other. We'll improve, right? But we'll never delude ourselves to think that we'll ever reach a standard of perfection, right? Because, again, I'm 35 this year, bro. I don't know what my 40-year-old version is going to be, right? I'm probably going to mess up some more, right? And thank God, by His grace, that my wife will not leave me or love me. And I will cry out, man. I'll ask for forgiveness every time I mess up. That's what being a full husband is. I will acknowledge that I failed. I will acknowledge that I stuffed up. And I will acknowledge that I'm not perfect and I'm growing and I'm learning, right? And that's what being a half husband is, right? Learning and walking with other brothers around you who will help you to become a better husband, right? So not a perfect husband, not a full husband, but a better husband. Hence our tag or our slogan is celebrating becoming better husbands, right? Because another thing is, with walking as a husband, you tend to feel alone, right? And so when you fall on your face, there's no other husbands around, right? Dudes that you share values with, dudes that you trust, dudes that can really pour into you. Because let's be honest, right? We sit around, especially us at the age that we're at, and we talk a lot of trash about women, right? And so if you're gonna train yourself to talk trash about women now, best believe when you get married and you continue speaking like that, you're probably gonna hang out with dudes who speak like that as well, right? So when you stuff up, those dudes will not be equipped to say to you, yo, bro, listen, man, you actually screwed up here. Step up, become a better man, go apologize to your wife. Instead, we'll sit around the corner with a couple of beers and be like, yeah, man, you know, bro, these wives ain't loyal, dog. These women ain't loyal, dog. Right? And you continue fitting yourself that narrative while you're destroying your marriage. And after destroying your marriage, you're destroying your family. And when families are destroyed, right, communities are destroyed.
Yeah,
when communities are destroyed, the nation is destroyed.
Yeah.
When nations are destroyed, the world is destroyed, right? But it all starts with a husband saying, listen, I'm not perfect, man. Right? I want to get better. I want to do better. Because I can see the weight I'm holding and how much benefit I can have on the people around me, right? So, yeah, KB, so I hope that helps, bro. I hope that's clear enough, man. Word, dog.
It's a good question.
You had a question, dog?
My name is Sam, and I want to ask, at what age or when will you be ready to get married? And my second question is, does not having a father figure when growing up affect the way you're going to treat your wife? Yeah.
Sure, that's a...
Steve, bro.
That's a very... I think of all the topics, the topic of fatherlessness is one that's close to my heart. I got married when I was 24, 35 now. So I don't think there's a right age, as it were, for one to say I'm like 30 years is a good age or whatever age. So I don't think you can put a number to it. I do think that there's certain things that need to be in place for one to be married, and that can come when you're 22. And I think that's the youngest people because I've then conducted a few marriages. One of them actually appeared on the podcast, and they 22 years old, and they married this year on April's Fool Day.
I think they got married just after varsity.
Yeah. No, the chick is still
Still in school.
Is still in school doing her honors. So that's another thing. But when I speak to them, I feel like they are guys who are ready to hold up the responsibility. And I think it's also about just us stepping into the mindset of actually we can get married early. We can start thinking about taking up responsibility quite early. It's just a mindset thing that many of us can actually deny ourselves certain things so as to pursue the path of getting married. So I don't think there's a particularly an age where one is that's recommended for marriage. I think people should get married younger. That's just my thought. It channels you. That speaker was talking about having a perspective, having a goal in life to go somewhere. I think being married grounds you, and it motivates you to have killer instincts to say, shucks, I gotta push in my career because my kids are gonna starve. On top of that, I think we live in a country where guys are getting kids out of wedlock and not building homes to protect those children. Then we end up with an issue again of fatherlessness. So we're perpetuating the stereotype of our country of particularly black men not being around. So for that reason, I think we need more and more guys who would say, I want to get married. I want to pursue one woman for the rest of my life, and build with that woman. And emphasis being on building together, building a family, building your career around the family, and ultimately, as Black was saying, building society. South Africa needs men who are present. So yeah, I think anybody, as long as you got means to provide, I do think you can get married. Dude, when I got married, we had the bed that my wife was using at Res. She was staying at this thing called the Yard in UJ. So we used that bed. I remember coming back from honeymoon from a nice bed to to a small apartment in Midrand, and the thing in Midrand, the camp chair situation. That was it. We had a bar fridge, smaller than most people, but we built life and we built it together. And today, I think we solid because of that. So building before you blow up and you have money and you don't know that girl loves you for you or he loves you for your money, which is the reality of the country we live in. Your other question was fatherlessness?
Yeah, in light of getting married. So how do I even pursue marriage if my dad was not around?
Yeah. So I think what Black was talking about is so crucial, isn't it? That in as much as sometimes we don't have good role models growing up, I think there's plenty of other role models in society that we can look up to. So for me, being a pastor, being in a church, I saw other men being good husbands and being good dads, and I was like, wow, okay, he's doing that. I think I should emulate that. So I think I've had great examples in the absence of my dad being there. I think I've had those great examples. I think the challenge for me as a husband, I think there are times where, so I used to think I needed a dad when I was young, but I realized more and more that I need him now more than anything. That there's times when life gets hard. Being a man is hard. Being a husband is hard, and you just need somebody by your side to say, son, it's gonna be okay. So yeah, I think that's been the challenge, and it continues to be a challenge. So yeah, it's not ideal. It is challenging to learn stuff first time, like what it means to teach a son to be a man and all of those things. How not to lose your temper and your cool with your children, because I never saw that being modeled. But providing, and I think this is maybe my biggest thing, a sense of home and a sense of, Chucks, this guy has identity and a sense of belonging. I don't have that. So yeah, I think it's been a challenge, but we named our son Oagile. So it means that he has built, God has established something new. And I think that's what I believe. I didn't have that, but he will never, God willing, know a life without a dad, because God has built something new. And I think for all of us, we know our past. We can change the situations that we came from. And I think there are other examples out there of people who can spare us on to become better men, better husbands. Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope, bro. And I think, man, even with that, like, and that's why I started off with asking you the question, where the future men of South Africa are. I think the most manliest thing that anyone can ever do is to be selfless, right? I think that's the most manliest quality ever. And part of that is realizing that even if you're in your 20s, whether you're 19, 18, whatever age you cats are at now, realizing again that if you are the current men of South Africa, however you guys behave, David's son is picking cues from you guys, right? So we might sit here with father scars, we might sit here with hurt, we might sit here with absent dads or whatever the case is, right? And we like, yo, man, when I become a dude one day, I'm gonna be a different example. No, you're a different example now, bro, right? Think of manhood as all of us connected, right? So David's son is connected to you cats. You cats are connected to us. We connected to some other old timer who's like 50 years old, right? However he behaves, he changes our posture. If that posture changes, your posture changes. However you cats' posture changes, you change Oachile, right? So we connected. If we're ever going to change the legacy and the narrative of what real manhood looks like in our country, we need to remember, let me be selfless. Let me not think for myself in my 20s, right? But let me think about the 6-year-old who's behind me, right? There might be a 35-year-old who's screwing up, and you cats are wise enough to see that. Yo, walk up to that dude and be like, yo, man, old homie, I think you're messing up here, right? We looking at you for cues, bro. So if you want to behave like this and do stupid things, where are we going to get examples from, right? The 6-year-olds behind us who are looking at us and wanting examples and cues. So let's all hold each other, right? But it begins with realizing, man, let me be selfless, bro. All right? Let me not think about myself only. But a man, a leader, right, as Bukhosi spoke about, bro, is somebody who has vision and sees all of that together, bro, right?
Yeah, Bukhosi spoke about that servitude being like part of a key part of leadership. Black, where do you think, this is my question, when you talk about being selfless, how is the state of South Africa in terms of selflessness? Yeah. Or maybe to phrase the question differently, what does it look like when I'm not selfless?
I mean, I think, I don't know anybody in this room, but I would bet, if I would ask what selflessness looks like, and I ask how many dudes in this room's dads are not around, right? I think majority of us would probably stand up, right? Amen? No? Yeah? Right? 100, I'm not asking anybody to stand up, but anyway. And I think selflessness, not being selfless, results to, I think, the mess that we're in, the brokenness that we live in now. It looks like dudes who, again, will say, maybe to phrase it this way, dudes who will define themselves by what they're not. And here's what I mean by that, right? I did that, I think, first year of my university, right? My dad bounced when I was 15. And then when I got to first year, I remember consciously saying to myself, I'm going to be everything my dad is not, right? Maybe I'll turn out different. My dad doesn't smoke, I'm going to smoke. My dad doesn't drink, I'm going to drink, right? Whatever that dude didn't do, I'm going to do. But what I did at that point is I defined myself by what I'm not, right? I am trying to correct a hurt, a brokenness that had nothing to do with me in one sense. Instead of actually, even in that moment, which I didn't know, had I been selfless enough to think, hey man, there's probably a bunch of other people who are looking at me for an example, and there's other examples in front of me that I should have looked at. It probably would have changed the course of my life in those 3 years. But a lack of selflessness then looked like a whole lot of brokenness, man. Looked like a whole lot of hurt. I don't know how many girls I hurt just because I was living a very selfish life at that point. And again, looking at how many older men and fathers in this case will think about themselves only, right? You leave a nation of single mothers. You leave a nation of young men, right? Again, who are looking to our mothers, if we're honest, right? To try and find cues on how to be an adult. Yep. But your mother is a woman, right? Will she help you? Yeah, she will. Will she discipline you? She will, right? But there's something that a man or a father brings into a home, right? There's something that a father anchors, right? I'll think of my daughter, where I look at her. She's 4 years old, but already she knows, right, who to go to for nurturing. She knows where to go to for discipline, right? So if she's thinking about keeping rules, She knows who to look to, right? And I'm not saying that's the only role that fathers play in the household, but there's a sense in which fathers can anchor us, right? Fathers give us confidence, right? When you think of what a mother does, a mother, if you climb on the table, I mean, we were boys here at some stage, right? You climb on the table, your mother's first instinct would be, yo, you're gonna fall and break your neck, right? But a father's instinct is, alright, cool, let's climb very slowly, alright, let's try and jump, right? I'll catch you. Why? Because he's going to instill confidence. Men tend to push things. We tend to be much riskier. And so we instill a different confidence in our kids and in each other, right? Women will protect. Women will say, hey, listen, don't break your neck, don't do, et cetera, et cetera. And there's something else that they're instilling in us while they're doing that. But fathers will give us confidence, man. Fathers will nurture something in us that will help us to become better people in society. And so when they're not there, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we left with a lot of dudes that are selfish, man. And once those dudes are selfish, it's a dog-eat-dog world, right? And everything is mine. I just want to keep, bro. Everything is mine, right? We literally behave like toddlers, right? And you see toddlers, bro, when they're born. I remember somebody saying this to me, and I'm talking too much now. I remember somebody saying this to me, and I was like, yeah, whatever, right? But they're like, toddlers are very selfish, man. Right? And I was like, yeah, until I saw David's son, right? And my child as well. But a kid, bro, who's a couple of months old or whatever, they see your watch or they see your phone. They don't care that it's yours, right? They'll grab that thing, right? And they'll probably scream, mine, right? And so a father has to discipline that out of them, right? To make you realize, hey, listen, you can't be selfish because that leads to a whole lot of brokenness in the world. But a dad can do that. A dad can instill that in kids. And so then we would raise a nation of people who would really look out instead of looking within to see how they can be leaders, how they can serve other people, et cetera, right? So anyway, it was a very long way to answer your question. But I saw a couple of hands there, man. Yes, sir.
My name is Juice. I don't know if it's on the topic, but I want to ask this question.
Yeah.
Is it bad for it's two questions actually. Is it bad for a man to have many ex-wives, or is it also bad for a man to be in a polygamous marriage?
Sure.
Yeah,
Steve, bro.
good question.
Steve. Marut.
Why? No, he was looking at you when he was asking that question.
So let me answer ex-wives. You'll answer polygamy.
I have got one wife, and it's so here's the thing. I think part of being a pastor is that you engage with like people in their best and in their worst.
Sure.
So you get to see just life as it is. You get to see the intricacies of human brokenness, just how complex people can be. And I think, so firstly, as a married guy, I think handling one wife is a full-time job.
It's enough, bro.
I love my wife. We've been together since 2009, 15 years. So, and it's been a joy. And it's been like filled with ups and downs. And I think like to be able to do that for a long time, like it's just, man, it's so good for me as a person to be able to give yourself, firstly, maybe like just sexually to someone for that long and still have good sex requires a lot of deep connection.
Yeah.
It requires just nurturing, so growing something that, like if you tend a small plant, it grows. It is hard work, it is long, but it grows to be a big tree. And I think that's what we are meant to do as guys, to nurture just one tree. And I think the energy for me to do that with a couple of women, I just don't see how you'd be able to achieve that. When I look at shows like, what is that show with a guy?
Yeah, maybe let's not give him airtime.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But when I look at that, I'm like, flip, this looks like in an economic setup, this would work. Like if you have a lot of money, you can have multiple houses if this one denies you sex, you go or to the other one. It makes sense, right? But just to be able to relate and to build, I just don't see how you'd be able to do that with a couple of wives. So yeah. So I want to answer that question without bringing my own worldview. So like being a Christian, we just don't subscribe to that.
Yeah.
But I just want to, like, practically speaking, I don't see how that would work. So if we are about nation building, if we are about nurturing a tree that's gonna grow up and become a good shelter for the next generation, I just don't see how having multiple partners can practically work. I don't think we have the capacity to do that. And then having seen people who are either in polygamous relationships, or I was interacting with a dude who came from a setup where his dad was a polygamist, and just hearing his brokenness, I was like, man, this doesn't look like it works out for the kids as well, because there's a lot of confusion. People are people. There's jealousy. There's like competition. Women are like, what is it? Not out. There's always a competition. You know, when you are with dudes, we always judging each other. We always
Sizing
competing
each other, yeah.
in one way or another. I think it's the same thing with women who are not dating the same guy. Now, can you imagine those two competitive girls being in love with one dude? It's gonna be a recipe for disaster. There's lots of instances in the Bible of polygamous marriages, and like none of them is a good picture. You get family fighting against family because of relational issues within polygamous relationships. So I just don't see how that is wise. I just don't see in the future of our country how that's going to build one, just generational wealth, because you spreading yourself thin, but also just nurturing. And I think maybe we live in an age of where we are more aware of emotions. Like, it is so hard to just raise one child. It is so hard to build a family structure where like there's harmony. And I bet you our kids can see when things are falling apart between mom and dad. Now, when you introduce other parties, it becomes a complex, toxic environment to raise family for the next generation. So, yeah, in view of raising the next generation, I just don't, I don't think it's wise to subscribe to polygamy.
And I mean, there's many studies as well, obviously, that show that, you know, kids do better when they're raised by one mom, one dad, and just how they function way better, right? In most areas, academically, emotionally, socially, compared to kids who come from single parent households, or kids who come then from polygamous households. And so I think there is a lot that's just in how we wired, that would probably favor for a one man, one woman kind of relationship or marriage, right? But another interesting thing is just how you cats reacted when David spoke about having sex with one wife for 15 years, right? Well, you haven't had for 15 years.
Not for 15
you dated her for 5 years, you married for 10. So you've had sex with her for 10 years, right? But so one...
Why are you guys laughing? Like, what do you think we're doing? We just...
So one, you cats reacted a certain way, and I'm reading into that. If I'm wrong, you can come back at me. But then so when he spoke about the sex, you guys had reactions. When he said he was married, I mean, he's known his wife and been with her for 15 years. You cats also had reactions, right? So it tells me a couple of things. One, we're reacting to somebody who's been with someone for 15 years because that's not common anymore, right? We don't see that anymore, right? I've been married for 9 years. I've known my wife for, close to 17 years now. And we don't see that as a common thing for dudes in our age group. So it's a shocker that dudes who are 35 would be committed to one woman for such a long period of time. If we go back 100 years, right, there'd be people who'd be laughing at us. Like 10 years that you've been married, 9 years, you cats still have a long way to go, right?
yeah.
But right now we look like heroes. We look like we're killing this thing. 10 years, 9 years, right? Why? Because you probably don't know anybody who's been married for more than 5 years, right? In your own immediate environment or context, or even on social media where we see celebrity marriages, 2 years, that thing is over, right? And so that also speaks into the legacy that we're building as men. If cats are men now, it starts with us setting our mindset to say, yeah, dude, like I'm gonna do 15 years easy. It's not going to be a thing. It's going to be hard, obviously, but I'm just saying in light of the culture that we live in now, right, we need to set ourselves up and have a posture that says, yeah, man, that's what we're aiming for. We went to a 20-year anniversary of friends of ours, right? Such a dope thing to see, man. They've been married for 20 years, right? It's like, yo, man, that's dope. There's another couple we know who's been married for 42 years, right? And it's like, man, that's where we want to get. That's what we want to do. We shouldn't let our kids and other boys that are going to come after us, who will become men at the age that we at, right? They shouldn't be like, yo, man, like people who are married 20 years, 30 years, 40, that's a unicorn, dog. We don't even know what that is, right? We can change now to make that thing a norm, right, for cats who are coming after us, right? And even with the sex thing, here's the myth, man. Right? You've always heard the saying, right? Like sometimes we behave like a kid in a candy store, right? That saying, it doesn't say you're a man in a candy store. You're a kid in a candy store. You're a boy in a candy store, and that's how we treat sex, right? Boys will treat sex like I am in a sweet shop, and I'll just eat whatever I want to eat, right? You eat too many sweets, you're gonna get sick and you die, dog, right? That's what's gonna happen, all right? That's what's gonna happen. But a real man, again, will be, it's true, right? It's true, bro. Who's this dude? I forgot his name, man, but he's one of these, like, Instagram gurus. Yo, go do this thing, man, start $1 million business, blah, blah, whatever, right? I forgot his name, I remember him. But that dude was like, yeah, at some point, he had 27 girls at one time on a yacht, right? And he was like, bro, I had sex with all of those girls, 27, one day. And it's like, that's the most unhappy he's been his whole life, right? In the span of however many years he's been having sex with women, like all of us combined in this room, bro, we don't have a body count combined, right, of that man, right? And he's like, dog, that thing made me depressed.
Someone says no, he was probably doing it wrong. I think it's a...
He was doing it wrong. Doing it with 500 chicks is doing it wrong, dog. Yeah. Right? It's doing it wrong because you were not designed to do that. And again, being a man who's selfless, right? And you're going to give yourself to one woman year after year, month after month, week after week, right? When you guys fighting together, when you guys are building a friendship, when you guys have a kid and that kid is nuts and you're disciplining that kid, when you guys become rich together, when you guys go through a depression together, when you guys are in hospital together, when you guys go on your first holiday overseas together, when you get into that bedroom, dog, trust me, you're not having sex with an object. Right? Sure. You're not having sex with a vagina, dog. You're having sex with the whole person, bro. That is next level manhood, bro. Right? A boy just wants to have a vagina. Let's be blunt, right? A boy is like, yo, man, how many vaginas can I get? A real man will say, how can I nurture a woman, dog? Right? Right? When a husband doesn't get sex, bro, right? The first thing we ask ourselves, dog, have you been nurturing your wife's heart, bro? Right?
Massaging her heart.
Have you been massaging her heart before you want to massage her bum, bro? Right? Have you been That is hard, right? Because any boy with riz, any boy with game, you can go up and be like, yo, man, I'm going to play game, blah, 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 get sex, move on to the next chick, right? And that's just it, dog. But actually growing somebody, bro, right? You were married at what age? 24. My wife was 24, I was 25, right? She's 34 this year, bro. Has that woman become a better woman because she was with me, right? That's going to inform the kind of intimacy that we have, right? Or has she become worse because she was with me, right? So that determines the kind of man that I am. So if I'm not stepping up, best believe the first person who's suffering is my wife. The next person who's suffering is my kid, right?
Yep.
We've seen tons of examples of men like that in our country, in our own lives, in our communities, bro. And we've seen what that stuff has done to us, and seen what that stuff has done to our mothers. Some of us, Puluko was speaking about triggers. Some of us hate our dads, bro, because of what they did to our moms, right? And you walking around with a scar, yeah, man, this dude did stuff to my mom and I was young, that I couldn't do anything. But if I was old enough, I'd do stuff to him, right? So you've seen what a dude who's selfish, what a dude who's not selfless can do to a woman. Why would you want to do that, dog? Why not do the hard work of being a man, bro? Digging your heels somewhere, picking somebody's daughter, saying to the community, to her family, to yourself, to God, I am going to sacrifice myself on the altar and really look after this woman, bro. I'm going to make sure that this woman becomes the best that she can be. Is it going to be easy?
Yeah,
Hell
it's hard,
no.
man.
It's not going to be easy, bro. But that's why you have other brothers next to you. That's why you have other husbands next to you. When you're like, yo, dog, I'm struggling. Been trying to massage this wife's heart, bro, but it's hard. What should I do, right? And then it's like, yo, let's sit down, bro. What's happening? Where you at, right? How's your heart, right? What's happening with you before you try and massage your wife? Maybe you're not massaging your wife's heart well because your heart needs to be massaged. How can we massage your heart, right? Right? And for us, again, we Christians, we're like, yo, man, let's go to the Lord. What's happening there, dog? How's your heart? How's your relationship? How are you doing with your prayer life? All right, cool, man. There's steps that are missing there. You know, things are not cool. Yeah, I've been dry for a couple of... Okay, cool, dog. Let's fix that so that you can be the best so you can go serve your wife, bro. And we've seen in moments, right, when we've dropped the ball, bro, how that switches the whole mood in the house. Yeah. But the minute we step up, right, we have joy, something that men don't want to talk about. We always want to be hard, right? But the joy of a man, dog, right? When a dad walks into the house, bro, a dad is happy. How many of us know dads who just walk into the house, grumpy, hey, plate lamel gupi, ngikhathele ngifuna ukudla, right? That changes the whole mood of the household, bro. But a dad who comes in with a smile at home, who's happy to see his wife, who's happy to see his kids, after a long day of work, he might be carrying a lot of rubbish on his shoulders, bro, but as soon as he parks the car, he's like, I'm leaving this trash in the car. I'm coming into the house. And I love my daughter, dog. I like dressing, right? Like dressing, very, very, very particular about how I dress. David, on the other hand, he's not like me, right?
Why did you?
This dude is not like me. And you know how I know, bro? And God is going to forgive me for this. But I see how David plays with all our kids, right? Not just his kids. So when I come to his house or he's at my house and my kid sees him and she's like, yo, Uncle David, blah, 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 and runs to him, right? David is like, yo, let me pick you up. And then she climbs with her shoes, bro, on his jeans, right? And he's like flipping her, whatever. I'm like, you're not going to do that with my jeans, dog, right? Like, I need to stay clean, dog. Don't touch my sneaks, right? But the reason I bring that up is his joy, bro, in just coming into the house and wanting to play with the kids, that flips the whole mood, bro. Those kids really, really thrive, bro. Those kids are happy, and when they're happy, they're going to become better citizens. They're going to become better students when they get to university. They'll become better entrepreneurs or better employees wherever they land up. Why? Because of the joy of the father, dog, right? I remember saying, I think it was to Grace or David, one of these two dudes. I was like, man, if our wives now would get on a call and say, yo, we're organizing a picnic, right? We're going to organize all the families to come together, right? Most likely, in other situations, the husbands would be like, yeah, sure, I will go, dog, whatever, right? And we'll drag our heads, our wives will drag us, we'll go to this picnic, yeah, okay, we'll play with the kids, right? That's going to be fine. Things will be dope. But if fathers, husbands organize, it's a picnic. Not saying go plan a trip to Paris, right? It's just a picnic, dog. That switches the whole mood, bro. It raises the temperature, right? When men come into the house and we say to each other, dog, we're going to plan a picnic for both our families or something like that, dog, right? When our wives hear that, they're not like, yeah, sure, we'll come to this thing. Their energy levels are here. Why? Because they want to be taken care of. And even just organizing a picnic is taking care of their hearts and massaging it, bro. Once their energy is here, guess whose energy they bring up? The kids' energy, dog, right? And once those families' energies are up here, we changing the community around us, bro. When that community changes, we changing the country.
And when that energy is there, guess what happens? Go.
Come on, dog. Come on, son. Yo. Best believe, dog. Right? And that's what I'm telling you, dog. By the time you get home and your wife is loving you, dog, right? Dog, most men have one-night stands and you think, oh, this stuff was cool, bro. But let's be honest, bro. We're not just hot bodies. We also have hearts, right? And you driving back home or you cats are walking back to res or whatever the thing is and you think, that thing was nice, right? For the 20 minutes, and I'm being generous, for the 20 minutes that we did it, right? That thing was cool, bro. But then you sitting there and you thinking to yourself, dang, bro, the whole week, see what, that thing didn't feel right, man. Like, I wasn't even there. I don't even like this girl. And then now you're seeing her on campus and you're trying to duck her now and you're trying to run away, right? Bro, that's not being a man, bro. But when I come back home, it's a picnic. Again, not a trip to Paris, bro. Right? It's a picnic. And our wives are happy, bro. When my wife is like, yo, son, go put the kid to bed and come here. I'm like, oh, Jesus. Oh, Lord. Right? Because again, that thing is not just coming with how nice today was. It's coming with 15 years, bro. It's coming with knowing her inside and out, bro, knowing her lows, her highs, knowing when she's happy, she's depressed. So that one moment, bro, right? That 20 minutes will feel like heaven, like a lifetime, bro. And that 20 minutes is a building block to all the other 20 minutes we're gonna have till we die that just keep on increasing, bro, right? Exponentially, it keeps on increasing. Why? Because our emotions keep increasing. Our love, our friendship, our trust, bro. Intimacy, sex has to do with trust, bro. When you trust your wife and she trusts you, that thing is amazing, bro, right? And that's what being a man is. So we can chuckle and be like, oh, it's sex with one woman, dog. Be a man. Pick one woman. Be responsible. Grow her. Love her. Challenge yourself, bro. Grow the way that God intended you to grow. Let your emotions be nurtured for, right? The way that God intended them to be, instead of trying to find a bunch of one-night stands, bro. And you're just leaving a trail of women that are broken. And some men even leave a trail with kids,
Sure,
right?
man, yeah.
And then next thing they get to your funeral and then you see somebody you're like,
Hey,
now we groot man lam, gant. Hey, kanting na groot man eingek. Because they left the trail, bro, right? But can you be the dude who's like, nah, dog, this thing is ending with me, right? I'm going to change this thing. It's going to be different, right? Does it look glamorous when we're doing it? No, it's not, dog, right? But the fruits of what we're doing will be seen 100 years from now when we're gone, dog, right? With the kids that we're going to leave, the grandkids that will come from those kids, bro, with the people that we've impacted around us. David spoke about all the men that he was seeing who were faithful husbands, who were loving their children, dog. Those guys, right, probably die in a couple of years' time, but they left a legacy with David. And the legacy they left is impacting Oachile, right? And Oachile doesn't even know these dudes, but he's getting impacted because a man decided not to be selfish, right? Anyway.
Yeah. So there's two questions there.
So the second question is that, bro, with leaving a trail of ex-wives. I'm like, man, just if you, first of all, practically, I don't know why you'd want to get married over and over, bro. Weddings are tiring, buffet. Yeah. Weddings are spanny, writing. It's work, right? Organizing a wedding. So I don't know, first of all, why you'd want to have multiple weddings ending up with a bunch of ex-wives. But if that's where you at and you have a bunch of ex-wives, I'll say, man, just do something different now. Let's change the narrative and try and do something better. But for you cats who are not married, just don't go there.
Yeah.
Right? Don't go there. Don't try and say, it's going to work differently for me. There's plenty of men who said that, bro. And we have the nation we have now. Right?
Yeah.
So don't try it, man. Just do something different now. And
But just, I mean, to add on that, I think that like most people, if not all, set out to do marriage not wanting to be exes, like, and divorce and hitting the rock bottom is part of the world that we live in sometimes, and there's grace for those kind of people to, one, seek help. Like if you've had multiple failed relationships, then perhaps it's an indicator for you to find help and to, I guess, try again. So yeah, like I think in certain cases it's just that someone is broken and they bring their brokenness to a relationship. They want it to work. I think many of us want relationships to work, and so if they fail, there's grace for those people. Yeah, I just wanted to say that because
that's dope, bro. Though you had a question, bro. Yeah. You had it, though. I talk too much, though.
I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Yeah.
So the question was, how do you balance out between being, say, in a marriage? So you have a child that is a bad cop, there's a good cop. So say you being the enforcer, the man, and then the wife being the good cop. So how do you balance it out? Because if you do too much of being the bad cop, then the kid starts despising you and then moving towards the wife.
Yeah.
So how do you actually balance it out?
Yeah. Stop.
Yeah, that's the question.
Sure, that's I needed a conversation, not a question, because I need more context to that. As in, like playing good cop, bad cop as the parents, or
Simplify it. Let's just put it that way.
yeah. I think that's confusing to kids. I think there's easier ways to, and I think I know why parents sometimes do that. One, it's very good to show unity, and kids know where the weakest link on the chain is, and they want to break it. And so they'll ask mom for dessert, and she says no. They will come to me. My wife is the hardcore one. She lays down the law. And maybe part of it is growing up without a dad. It's like you try to overcompensate. You just love them to a point where sometimes you spoil them. And I'm navigating that, those two things. But so they will come to me because I'm not the pushover, but I'll be like, yeah, whatever. Like, you want dessert.
Because you want dessert yourself.
Yeah. Like, I wanted a dad who can get me dessert. Go have it. So for me to learn to say, what did mama say, is the best thing I can do for those kids. Because they shouldn't grow up in a household where there's divisions of leadership. They know it best. They need to be taught that we are united. It is us, the parents, not against, but leading you guys. And I think that's healthy for kids to grow up there. So when you do, like, when you're not united in your like agreements as between husband and wife to say this is how we're going to raise our children, first of all, that's not good for your marriage, because you're just not functioning as a unit. You're functioning as two separate entities. So you need to sort that out so that you can lead your kids better. To do good cop and bad cop is confusing for kids. I think it's just not a healthy environment.
Yeah. So I mean, I totally agree with that, bro. I think unity, is key. And
maybe if the question arose from what Black said with regards to different personalities, I do think as I said, we do bring different personalities to the thing. But are we then going back and saying we united so that, in as much as we're different, we are together as a unit leading the kids, and they need to know that. So whatever you do not show a front that's not united.
And we spoke about this in last week's episode on the podcast, just how sometimes parents tend to compensate, one, either for how they were brought up, but maybe secondly for how bad things are in the marriage. So then you'll tend to get a couple that's divided, so then the dad tries to compensate more, give the kids desserts. Why? Because he's pissed at the wife, right? Or he thinks the wife can't parent right? But at that moment, we have to acknowledge as well that part of what we bring into a marriage, we do marriage based on cues that we picked up, right? And seeing how other people did marriage. Similar thing with parenting. We parent the way we've seen people parent us and how we've seen other people parent their children. And so I think part of what makes a couple united is admitting that, right? And it's a hard thing, I'll tell you now. It's a hard thing to sit down with your wife and say, yo, I think you were raised this way, I was raised this way. There's good things here, there's bad things there. How do we unite? Let go of the bad, take the good so that we can build a new thing for our kid. Because your kid has their own personality. Your kid is not you, man. They come from you, but they're not you. They have their own personality. They're developing a certain way. They're growing up in a world that's different from the world you grew up in, right? So when I grew up, right? I'm like, yo, man, that's not what she's exposed to now. So how do I parent her in a way that's beneficial for the environment that she finds herself in? And how do I avoid correcting how my parents brought me up through her, right? How do we then get united and saying we want to parent this kid for what's best for her, right, or him?
The key thing tonight has been the word build. It comes up quite a lot. I think there's questions. I think we should talk about sex as you ask questions. I think there was a question there, and then Lucella here also has a question. No, okay. Who raised? Okay. Man. No, you can. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
All right, dope.
Hi, my name is Avela, also known as Donovan III.
Come on.
As what?
Donovan III.
Jayam. Yeah. Is there 3 generations of your
I said AKA, this one.
So, my question or my little topic of discussion is, how do we go about, bettering ourselves as the current men of this generation?
Yeah.
Even though our society has alienated the idea of being a decent oak. Because, if you're being a decent gent, it's like you get taken for a...
Yes, that one.
Hey.
Yeah. Starts with a P. Yeah.
Come on now, Wanaka.
Yeah, I feel like...
Who's got clue hell about Tibau
yet? So yeah, I just feel like personally as a young man, I find myself getting lost because, the environment that I'm in, it heavily impacts how I go about things, and I find myself losing myself because of the factors in my environment. You know? And I found myself straying away from the actual person that I know I can be, because the person that I want to be is not necessarily as appreciated as being a...
come on now.
Yeah. Flip, man.
Yeah. That's dope, bro.
You must respond to that.
That's dope, bro.
Yeah, that moved me a little bit.
Yeah, that's dope, bro. Cheers, brother. I think the first thing, bro, as you were asking your question, I was going to go...